Hey, picked up some audio today of Amy's take on yesterday's little events and everything, and she is showing signs of stress, to put it mildly, and everything. Apparently, she's quote unquote leaving the state and all this kind of stuff. Basically, it's just like I said yesterday. Her story is gone cold. The psychopathy is so revealing. If you listen to this, and I'm putting it up on YouTube, so you'll have a link where you can share it with people. I give you Amy
I'm going
Sharon.
to show my face. I apologize, but too much is going on. For those of you that have not been following my story, it is the most unbelievable story. If I didn't know, that it's true, I would think I'm crazy. I would think a lot of you are crazy. We are what you call truly targeted individuals. We are righteous warriors who have been illegally targeted. We have been retaliated against. We have been red flagged. We have been blacklisted. We can't expose our evidence on social media or it goes missing or deleted. You try to call police and your records get deleted. Many police reports I've made have vanished. Crimes can be committed with witnesses. Crimes can be committed on tape where I catch it live or a public facility catches it live or a hotel. And there is no way you can get any justice when you're trapped in what I call organized crime and corruption. Let's recap. How long did I do radio? For years. How long did I expose CPS, fraud and corruption, and Senator Nancy Schaefer's words, who I spoke months? I'm telling you, the ones who don't get it are the ones that are crazy, because there are too many of us that have shown our evidence live, not hearsay, live, and still society sits back while innocent families are destroyed, much like Nazism, much like those days where you have to wonder how so many people were destroyed and people just watched. And it's going on in America today, right in your faces. What happened to me yesterday was a disgrace. Not only did I get something like 250 comments on what I proved, but nobody truly offered help. Not really. So there's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to escape because the corruption is worldwide. So then what do? Everyone's going to run scared, or they get together and rebel? We start a revolution. Hey, I'm in, because I'm not going to live in a world where women can be stalked, followed, harassed by men who are threatening to harm them, to destroy them. And this is horrific. I've been up all night. I'm sick. How many times have they gotten away with crimes and I've ended up deathly ill or in the hospital? Several times close call with a heart attack. They're not going to win. I have my new army of warriors that have been watching my evidence and videos, that are seeing how Facebook is controlling everything I'm doing. Everything. They hack in everything I do. They stop me from telling the truth. And this is truly social media control. And it's really population control, because they don't want the ones who understand what's going on to live. They'll do everything. My once very, very successful, high-end life, living the dream was all taken from me because I knew too much, because I went against corruption, because I went against the rich and powerful bad guys. And I'll tell you what, not only did they take my daughter on a setup that I haven't seen in almost 9 years, okay? I have not seen her once. And she was given to the very person that the criminal report was made against. This is America for you. I didn't get in criminal court. I was forced, which is a violation of my rights, into family court, where the judge would say, well, that's not part of the family case. You can't be providing that evidence to the courtroom. Give me a break. Excuse me, you're taking my child on false claims that I hallucinated a crime, and I, by God, have the right to prove it's true. Well, The police reports all went vanishing. My lawyer, who worked on the case, she did everything to go to the police. Even the judge, in my opinion, threatened her. He made some remark like, you won't ever be a lawyer again or something like that if you ever pull that stunt again. What stunt was she pulling? She was trying to prove a crime because, after all, they were saying it was a delusion, therefore they take my child. All my videos are being deleted. All my videos are being erased. I'm in hiding again. I am tired of living this way. I am officially back in hiding. I can't, this is just a temporary place I came to for a couple of nights while I regroup. And I have every intentions of leaving Texas forever. I will never, ever live in a state where cops can sexually harass women, where they can beat them up and caught on camera, and the hospital did nothing, and the doctors and the nurses, oh my goodness, but do nothing. I am so fed up today. I've never been this fed up. What I went through yesterday, I can't even still comprehend how that happened and how the police didn't run to see if there's any camera footage. But hey, after all, I am suing them. Well, it was for $20 million, if I may be so bold. And when I made it clear to the judge, I'm afraid I'll be dead over this lawsuit, and he gives me a dismissal without prejudice. Well, without prejudice? Oh, let me, Your Honor, make it clear. It is with prejudice. Because there's no reason, like a month or two before my jury trial, after I kept my case alive, pro se in federal court, suing basically Texas, for all the corruption and all the bigwigs that have been getting away, including our Attorney General, including our DA getting away with covering up felonies. Yeah. No, it's not without prejudice. It's with prejudice because there's no reason I didn't get a fair jury trial. Hey, but after all, in my CPS case, the juror was sleeping the whole time. This Asian pretty girl, young girl, the judge knew about it. Do you know that's grounds for a mistrial? But no. You ever heard of a juror, like she was actually snoring and, and the best, as on the only day that I got to tell my story, where I was illegally set up for a crime and ended up losing my home over it, and then a year later they're like, oh, I'm sorry, you're not charged with a felony after all. Give me a break. With a woman with no criminal record, never been to jail. All of a sudden, I'm arrested in the courtroom, brought to tell the jurors that I am being charged for a felony that I never did. Are you serious? And then after I lose my case, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, already lost my home, already lost everything, all on a scam. And this happens a lot to people. I was just crazy enough to go on radio and expose the hell out of it. That's the only difference. Now, I allegedly have someone that's on their way to help me or sometime today. The sad story is I don't know if I can take anyone with me. I am at the point where I realize my life is truly in danger. After all, they're already trying to cover up the assault that happened to us 5 weeks ago, aggravated assault. They're already covering up the crime that happened to me at the public restaurant, that I did a live video showing the ice that the manager brought me, who clearly told Johnny and I that he was also hit by this man running out, and then changed the story to, oh, I had to dodge him and kind of bent down to miss him, to then, oh, we don't know who he was, he doesn't exist. Give me a break, there's cameras in this whole dang restaurant. Well, after the police came, now their story completely changes, and they have no record of a man as big as Arnold Schwarzenegger wearing some tight black top or something with this gorgeous bombshell blonde that looked, if I may be so bold, like a prostitute, but it looked to me like a setup, and I'm thrown against the wall, have serious injuries, end up in the hospital, and they see no proof of this man existing. Now, excuse me, how is there no proof of a man that just threw me violently across the wall? The waiter said word for word, oh my God, ma'am, are you okay? Now they say they can't find the waiter. I am fed up. I am not going to be bullied. I'm not going to be harassed. And I'm not going to be targeted anymore. And the sad part is, It's everywhere in getting out of Texas. I get it. It's the first step. But this corruption will run further, deeper than running from Texas. Because let's remember how my daughter got taken. I reported a crime on Governor Rick Perry, who he appointed my stepdad to head of the medical board, and we had proof that my stepdad had been drugging me without my knowledge. Let's not mention that I came out positive for arsenic poisoning, mercury poisoning, and cadmium poisoning, and they say it's a delusion, and don't let me go to criminal court. And despite the psychiatric judge dismissed my charges, which is on Facebook, despite the CPS investigator, Deborah Mayo, dismissed my case, they managed to change the CPS worker who was originally Robin Hayward, who said they marched in the room, took her documents where she was giving my daughter back. Deborah Mayo went missing. We still can't find her. She never showed up for court despite subpoenaed. And now all of a sudden I've lost my daughter, then conveniently set up for a crime I didn't do. First time at 42 years old, ever been to jail during the trial. They dismiss it long gone after I can't appeal the case because you have 1 year to appeal it. Well, they took their time and, now it's too late to appeal it because you were on a house arrest for a year with a job at a really good modeling agency in Texas, one of the top. And all of a sudden I'm losing my job because, hey, I can't work at night because they call me at 6 o'clock all the time confirming that I'm there and I have to confirm my voice. But then a year later, we're sorry. Okay, you didn't commit that felony. Now the witness, the alleged victim, comes forward, 7, 8 years later, tells the lawyer, my original lawyer on the case, 2 lawyers on the case, Lori Grabowski, tells her, I want to do a sworn affidavit that Amy was set up. She didn't commit that crime. That wasn't my signature on the police report. And by God, Sergeant Cephas with Internal Affairs confirms it's true, says it was like 5 different police reports on the day that you were about to lose your daughter. The day before the deliberation, the day before the jurors decide my fate, I'm arrested and forced to tell them on the day of the verdict that I've come from jail and charged with a felony. Keep in mind, Amy Sharon had never even been charged with a misdemeanor. You want to know how I lost my daughter? If that's not hardcore organized crime and corruption, I don't know what is. So then this lady, Rowena Freeman, who now goes by Rowena Youngflesh, tricks me into saying I'm going to do a sworn affidavit that I was the number 1 witness that took you down and it was a setup. Tells Lori Grabowski, the lawyer, can I meet y'all? I'm dumb enough to let her come to my room, and she walks out on a scam. I'm desperate to get my daughter back with 2 mink coats that I inherited from my grandma that were very, very rare mink coats with her little autograph in them, if you know what I mean. She had her name in them, Gladys Sharon. She gets away with stealing that and a 40-carat rare stone that my grandma hid in a line jacket to me, a jacket, hand-painted a line, because my grandma was like a lion because she was very strong and did everything to protect me. And she hid that stone, didn't tell anyone, and I found it. I didn't understand why she gave me the jacket, and then I understood it all because she told me there's something hidden that's going to have you well enough to get the best lawyer and get the heck out of Texas. Of course, she died and, was a number 1 witness in my CPS case and testified to every pretty much thing that you heard, bizarre things I've told you. And all of a sudden she ends up with a mysterious death and all the money she was leaving me mysteriously vanishes and all the checking accounts wiped out and all the CDs, Oh my God. And then she's taped. She went on radio. She was taped saying they're doing to Amy what they did to me, implying she's being poisoned. My mother, who's not even in the will, who my grandma testified against, is visiting her twice with my daughter, who she got away with illegally taking with my stepdad, who was what? Appointed by Rick Perry, our once most popular governor. Are you getting the corruption around this? All of a sudden, there's no investigation, even though my mom is in my grandma's condo, and again, not on the will, and I'm in the will, and I can't get in the condo, and all of a sudden, all her jewelry's missing. The $78,000 organ that I had the receipt and proof of that it's in my will is allegedly given away to Red Cross or Salvation Army, and that's the story my mother gives. All her valuables 90% are missing. And she just claims we gave it all away. Or some crazy story. And she didn't get investigated for nothing. She got away with illegally taking my daughter. My poor dad being terribly, violently mugged when he was trying to go after her for some stuff that he suspected. And he just happens to get mugged violently when he only had $3 on him, according to witnesses. They stuck a pole through his brain, and now he can't be a witness because he has severe brain damage. I was only 15 years old. Let me remind you, this is when my mother hooked up with a prominent, wealthy doctor who later ends up head of the medical board appointed by Rick Perry, our once governor. Are you getting how bizarre my story is, or do I need to maybe turn it up? I don't think I can turn up the volume on this phone anymore, and I know I'm shouting because I'm real angry. I am caught up in some kind of bizarre good old boy system, and it doesn't matter if I'm dripping in blood. It doesn't matter if I've been violently sexually assaulted by a cop. The state covers it all up. And yeah, I have a big mouth, and that's why they're targeting me, and that's a fact. Now, I'll tell you what. I'm in big danger for this 33-page amendment I filed that I knew I shouldn't have filed till I was safe. But I will put that amendment, I will put that amended complaint, Rule 59, I believe is what it was. I will put my motion public because God forbid if anything happens to me, y'all need to see exactly what I filed in the serious allegations I made on the state of Texas and the police department and Child Protective Services. And then you wonder why I keep getting stalked and followed and harassed. It's so bad that they zoomed in on my lock and have the ability to open the lock to where I live. And I can't get the police here. You want to talk about danger? Imagine living in a world where people can have cameras on you and put it all over Google and YouTube, your information, and steal information off your private messengers and your YouTubes that they're blocked from, and have them in minutes public on Google and YouTube. Major cyber stalking, major hacking, major crimes being committed, my address is being put public. And you're wondering why I'm in danger and why I get robbed all the time and why people like Rowena can walk out of her room with all my belongings and claim she has immunity and can't be busted as CPS #1 witness. Why Wilbur Witt Jr. thinks he can steal over $250,000 of everything to my name. Pretty much him and only Rowena. Okay, people that robbed me blind. Rowena, a girl named Michelle, and Andrew, Wilbur Witt Jr., who goes by the Butcher, and a guy years ago by the name of Wilbur, oh God, 2 Wilburs, if you can believe that, or Wills, whatever. Anyway, I can't even think of his last name right now. I'm too upset. Is it? Oh God, sorry. Anyway, police reports made on all these people, and they all don't exist. And every one of these people, they deliberately pretty much took advantage of me, knowing I was in a vulnerable state. Said it pretty much in my face. They refused to do lie detector tests. They've insisted that the police can't touch them. It's pretty creepy. Now Internal Affairs says, oh yeah, we see proof of fraud, but narc on these cops, and we'll see what we can do to get your daughter back. And I do it, and it endangered my life, and they blew my cover. They put me in major news, whoever did, when my agreement with Internal Affairs was don't put my name public, and the DA's office, and the Attorney General's office. Whoever is big in Texas pretty much knew about this case and knew my fears. And if anything, they deliberately put me in harm's way because they wanted to shut me up so I couldn't sue them and prove that my daughter was taken illegally and that they retaliated against me for not giving up and exposing their dirty secrets in this huge scandal that truly is connected to even Rick Perry. Now, if you saw the video of Rick Perry and I'm on stage with him, he was scared I had a briefcase with me and I was going to pull it out on stage because, yeah, I'm that gutsy. Oh, my dear, no. I'm going to do right. I know your daughter was illegally, yeah, I'm about to lose my house, sir. No, smell for the cameras. They take our pictures. He gets reelected and blew me off. And you want to talk about corruption? I'll tell you what, when I know I'm safe, I'll blow your mind on what they said about Rick Perry and I under oath. And Governor Rick Perry did nothing about the detective. And if you don't believe I know him, just go on my Facebook. There's pictures going back to, I believe I'm 21 years old in that picture. And then you see me again, a lot older. Obviously, I knew him. I knew him because my rich little stepdaddy, who had an affair with my mother, and my poor dad died over God knows what. Maybe a setup, maybe not. We'll never know. But isn't it funny how they're the ones with my daughter and living the life, and I went homeless. I've gone starving over all this because what became a fight for justice became a fight for survival. And many of us, countless of us, are living this reality. I'm sure I'm going to regret doing this video. I'm sure I'm going to be yelled at by someone for doing it because everybody's telling me they're afraid for my life. But I'd rather die telling the truth than be a coward and be a no one that sat back and did nothing. All right, bye.
Get your phone out of my face.